So first thing she told me was that she wanted to be comfortable. And if you know me, you know I truly believe that comfort is a feeling, not a style. You can have both, especially in your professional brand image, right? So the second thing she told me was that she hated blouses. She thought that they made her look frumpy and she wasn't going to go there. So when I pushed her a bit more, she said she does love color. And when you see her, you're going to see why. And this helped, shape what I ended up pulling for her. Because when you set the goalposts around how you want to be perceived and what you like and you don't like, the decision making can be much easier. So I'm going to show you what I put her in. Now remember, this was my closet and this wasn't planned. We didn't go shopping. What we did was play around with some ideas, get some inspiration, work from where she started, work from where we were taking her so she can get some ideas around how to feel professional, approachable, friendly, and comfortable. You know what? This is a look that we all have, isn't it? We've all got the black legging and the black t-shirt and the black combat boots. It's something, naturally that we have a tendency to throw on, especially if we're going to be going somewhere like getting our hair done. We don't want A, our clothes ruined, and B, we don't want to have that uncomfortable feeling we're sitting in an outfit, right? That said, I think a lot of us tend to think that we can wear black with some black and some black, and it does drain us. And this is a perfect situation where we throw that cardigan on and away we go. So we know this is a very low level one. It is something that she's very relaxed and comfortable in, but this would be the anti representation of professional. And she knows that. I mean, I don't want to knock her for this experience and this outfit. This is obviously not something we're going to be wearing to a professional event. Let's look at what we can do. As an image consultant, hairstylist, and makeup artist, I always start with hair. It's your North Star. It's the first point. We've got to get it right because this is the thing you're going to be wearing every day. And it just shows the world how you feel about yourself. It's your number one accessory. So I went through her color palette to determine where we were going to go with her hair color. It was sun faded from this, over the summer. She hadn't had it done for quite some time. She was also open to exploring some other color family and some other color tones. So we're, taking her away from something that was a bit familiar and put her into something that was a little more polished and a little bit more professional. She was game and we had a lot of fun with that. When someone says that they feel they want to look professional and at the same time they hate blouses, there's a place in between, and comfort being the number one focus, I thought, well, what would be the most perfect thing to put her in would be a cardigan. Now, cardigans of themselves aren't necessarily very formal, but when you play with some color that was very flattering to her eye color and had a nice, really rich, deep tone, we had added more depth and color into her hair. It gave her a more of a professional, but also a little bit more mature appearance as well. The cardigan not being resistant, it wasn't restrictive, which I think she said she really didn't like about blouses either. And then it didn't have a fussiness. It was a much more relaxed appearance, which achieved her comfort, her personality, that approachability that she liked. Blue is almost always a shoe-in. It's a for sure color. Almost everybody looks good in one shade or two of blue. So the fact that that kind of worked, that was great. Now, this pant is actually a charcoal pinstripe pant. And a charcoal pinstripe pant is a lovely replacement for a black pant. And while I think we always think a black pant is, the most successful piece that you can pull, I push back a little bit on that because sometimes black actually comes off too harsh and too dark and actually too serious. Remember, she wanted to be approachable. She wanted her friendliness and her personality to shine through. And so lightening up colors is really important. Now, blue and charcoal live beautifully beside each other. They're very classic. They're very complementary, and it didn't overpower her coloring that much. When we're talking about looking professional, oftentimes, we're always looking to grab that blazer. And a great blazer is a staple in everybody's outfit, everybody's wardrobe. I think at some point in time, if they don't have one, they did have one. And what I really wanted to share here with her was And understanding that you can have a great outfit, and that third piece is that one element that can just tie the whole thing together. By having a third piece on, you give that representation of authority. You give that representation of professionalism. Now, it comes down to two things. It comes down to industry and it comes down to position. In the industry she's in, she's actually a clinician. So she owns a medical clinic. So that's very serious, isn't it? You want to be making sure that you're giving that professional, serious, not too playful and casual appearance. She definitely wanted to make sure she was going to be keeping her personality coming through. And we didn't want to squash that. But the other thing is, in her position, she is the CEO. She is the decision maker. She's the owner of the business. So we had to make sure that we were aligning the message really, really well. So we took into consideration how she wanted to be perceived. She wanted to be perceived as being professional. She wanted to be perceived as being friendly and approachable. We had to make sure we're taking into consideration the industry she's in, which is relatively very serious, right? We don't want to have a lot of whimsical appearance when we're talking medical. And we also wanted to make sure that she looked like the owner of the business, not just at an entry level. Those components all provided us with an outfit that gave bright color. And the third piece that I put on here, this really current, fresh, almost bomber-like jacket, took the idea that we didn't necessarily have to have a blazer, a classic blazer, kept it in relation to her age, her relationship with being approachable and being fun and being comfortable. She did not like restrictive clothing, and that was perfect. I love the way that this color plays off of the blue in the background and the lightness to reflect against her skin. She's glowing, she's bright, she was happy, and she was gently and surprised at how nicely the outfit looked on her physique, in the sense that she didn't have to hide behind a long cardigan. When you get your proportions right, everything falls into place. The color, the proportions, the message, the appearance, it all comes together. Perfect branding. And since I was doing her hair anyway, I offered to do her makeup too. So she left feeling great. She was put together. She was ready to go for the evening. She obviously didn't take the outfit home with her. It was meant to be inspiration, a concept to show her how you can still stay comfortable, but not be wearing that t-shirt and still look a little bit more polished, more approachable, more her, where she's at right now. Listen, I hate to tell you that your personality isn't the first thing people see when they meet you. And it only takes 3 seconds to make an impression. So making a good impression is worth a little bit of effort, because it will always matter. Everywhere you go, everyone you meet, whether you own your own business or you work for someone else, you're always selling yourself, whether you think you are or not. Here's where I suggest you start. Ask yourself the same 2 questions I asked her. How do you think you are being perceived in your career right now? And how do you want to be perceived? Sit with those and see what comes up and write it down if it helps you. So if you think your outfits are aligning to your message, your brand message that you like right now, that's great. You need a little bit of help? Ask yourself these questions, because this wasn't a makeover. What we did here was a style shift. We moved from hiding behind her clothes to choosing outfits with intention, because you don't need a full overhaul. Just need a little shift in your style direction.